So I think that's just kind of been the time for me to like really find some patience. And I've never been a patient person my entire life. So this has definitely tested me a little.
Nobody saw this disaster coming. What looked like another easy night for the Indiana Fever suddenly exploded into one of the biggest shockers of the season when the Los Angeles Sparks completely flipped the script. The Fever entered with all the momentum, expecting to stack another victory onto their growing record. Then everything changed before the final buzzer. The Sparks stormed away with a stunning 106-92 victory, delivering one of their strongest performances all year and reminding the entire WNBA that hype guarantees absolutely nothing. And when I say this game changed everything, I am not talking about the standings alone. This crushing loss exposed weaknesses the Fever had successfully hidden throughout their recent winning streak. The Sparks matched Indiana's intensity, played fearlessly from opening tip until the closing seconds, and took complete control when the biggest moments arrived. But the story gets even bigger. A matchup almost everyone expected the Fever to dominate suddenly became one of the week's biggest surprises. This was not simply an upset. It was Los Angeles proving they belonged against one of the league's most talked about teams while forcing the Fever to answer some uncomfortable questions moving forward. The Sparks dictated the tempo, buried momentum-changing scoring runs, and slammed the door with huge defensive stops that never allowed Indiana to settle into rhythm. While the Fever searched desperately to regain control and the Sparks chased a statement victory, every possession became a battle worth remembering. So let's break down exactly how the Sparks shocked the Fever, the defining turning points, and what this stunning result means for both teams moving ahead. By the final buzzer, the entire WNBA was buzzing, and believe me, the real reactions were only getting started. If you're enjoying this story, hit that like button and subscribe because more than 83% of viewers still haven't joined the channel. It costs nothing, takes only a second, and honestly helps more than you know. Already subscribed? You're officially the real MVP. Thanks for the support. Now, let's get right back into this unbelievable story.
Obviously, this game is peaking at 3.2 million viewers is crazy for the WNBA, even for the Fever. So this year's peaks are already freaking higher than last year's peaks when this team was starting to do a bit well.
Caitlin Clark was doing what she does best, breaking records and creating highlights before leaving with a strained quad.
Again, much better start from a number of Sparks tonight than we saw on Monday. It had been a long layoff. They hadn't played in 9 days.
The Indiana Fever walked into their showdown against the Los Angeles Sparks riding a wave of momentum, and expectations were soaring through the roof. With Caitlin Clark leading the charge, fans were already counting another impressive victory before the opening tip. But basketball has a funny way of humiliating bold predictions. Instead of delivering another statement performance, the Fever found themselves trapped in a battle against a Sparks team that simply refused to back down. And here's the wildest part. Once the second half began, Los Angeles looked like the hungrier squad, grabbed complete control, and stormed away with a shocking 106-92 victory. In an instant, all the excitement surrounding Indiana turned into questions about what went so terribly wrong and how the Sparks managed to flip the entire script so convincingly.
Mitchell, the crossover, the spin, the step through, and a tough two.
The Indiana Fever looked like they had finally discovered their rhythm before this matchup. After their recent winning streak, plenty of fans were already acting like the Los Angeles Sparks had absolutely no chance. Well, that confidence disappeared fast. The moment the game tipped off, it became painfully clear this was never going to be another comfortable night. The Sparks took advantage of every opening they were given. Indiana's offense never flowed the way supporters expected, while defensive breakdowns kept piling up at the worst possible moments. There were flashes of the exciting team fans had watched all season, but the Fever simply could not keep that energy alive for long. Even with Caitlin Clark delivering big plays, creating open shots for teammates, and knocking down difficult attempts, Los Angeles refused to let the Fever settle into any rhythm. Every time Indiana looked ready to launch a serious comeback, the Sparks answered with another clutch basket or a perfectly timed defensive stop. Those momentum swings ended up deciding the entire game, and we'll get back to them in just a moment. As the second half rolled on, the pressure only intensified. Fever fans kept waiting for that signature run, but the Sparks only grew stronger. After a shocking 106-92 defeat, Indiana was left searching for answers while Los Angeles stayed composed, executed when it mattered most, and turned that confidence into one of its biggest victories of the entire season.
I think this was a kind of gut punch for us. We're going to come back tomorrow to practice, more focused, more energy. We know we want to be at the end of the season, but we're not just going to get there. You know, sometimes it sucks and it's a grind, and that's where we're at right now. But I do think short term and long term, it's going to make us better.
This one really hit us hard. We're coming back tomorrow with more focus, more energy, and a whole different mindset. We know exactly where we want to be by the end of the season, but nobody is handing it to us. Sometimes the journey is ugly, sometimes it's exhausting, and that's exactly where we are right now. Still, I truly believe this will make us stronger both in the short term and the long run. Those were the words of Sophie Cunningham after the team's first game without Caitlin Clark, a loss to the Mystics. Looking back now, she wasn't wrong at all. That statement ended up meaning far more than anyone realized. But if fans expected the Fever to bounce back immediately, they were in for a rude awakening. After that disappointing defeat against the Mystics, the situation only became even more painful.
They can provide. Ace Van Slooten has checked in for the Fever. Cunningham read that all the way. Good play there by Sophie.
Fans and commentators started questioning absolutely everything after the embarrassing loss to the Sun, a team that had opened the season 0-5. Just when it seemed the situation could not possibly become any worse, it somehow did. The Fever lost both Sydney Colson and Sophie Cunningham to injuries during that same game. In the blink of an eye, Caitlin Clark was without both of her backups. Suddenly, the depth chart was not just thin, it was completely torn apart. But here's where the entire story takes a dramatic turn, because sometimes two slammed doors end up throwing another one wide open. And this unexpected opportunity came rushing in with a massive breath of fresh air.
Harris, Renee, Teaspoon, hold it
That
down.
shot, yeah, all of it. Ton of love.
We were proud mamas.
McDonald, Aari. Nobody anticipated the hardship signing who intervened and immediately altered the atmosphere. The energy came from her. She set the pace. Above all, she started the offense. She became a fan favorite and a spark plug. Many individuals are now arguing that she should not just be a stopgap measure. She ought to contribute to the future of the squad. Aari McDonald arrived, and suddenly everything felt completely different. Almost nobody expected the hardship signing to step in and instantly transform the entire atmosphere. She brought the energy. She dictated the tempo. Most importantly, she jump-started the offense when the team desperately needed it. Before long, she had become a fan favorite and the spark that kept the Fever alive. Now plenty of people are saying she should be far more than just a temporary replacement. They believe she deserves to be an important part of this team's future.
And if there's one thing that is a certainty for the Indiana Fever, it's that hold on to Aari McDonald at all costs.
The Fever began to make their way. First, they reversed the course of that previous defeat by exacting retribution on the Mystics. Then the big one arrived, the much-awaited rematch with the Los Angeles Sparks in front of around 20,000 spectators. The Fever also made a declaration. Not only did they triumph, but they completely destroyed them. The Indiana Fever finally started flipping the script. First, they got sweet revenge by erasing the memory of that painful loss against the Mystics. Then came the matchup everyone had been waiting for. The highly anticipated rematch with the Los Angeles Sparks in front of nearly 20,000 fans. And trust me, the Fever did far more than make a statement. They did not just win that game, they completely embarrassed the Sparks and left absolutely no doubt about who controlled the night.
And the Indiana Fever has beaten the Chicago Sky by a combined 62 points in 2 games.
Let's be honest, beating the Sky is starting to feel almost routine. But this victory was a completely different story because the Indiana Fever pulled it off without Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, or even their head coach, Stephanie White. Sure, it was not their cleanest performance, but that hardly mattered. The Fever still delivered an impressive statement win and proved something the rest of the WNBA should find seriously unsettling. This team has officially discovered how to win, even without Caitlin Clark on the floor.
Happy learned how to putt.
Kelsey Mitchell is finally looking like the player everyone remembered after shaking off that rough start to the season. Aaliyah Boston continues to dominate as the team's unstoppable force. Lexi Hull is making an incredibly strong case for most improved player and might even be knocking on the All-Star door because her three-point shooting has become absolutely lethal. There is already so much for Fever fans to celebrate, and that's exactly why this team could become even more dangerous once Caitlin Clark returns. Ironically, the Fever may now be stronger than they would have been if she had never missed time. That alone should have fans feeling thrilled. But the story doesn't stop there. If you're a Caitlin Clark fan, this injury gave the team far more than an opportunity to improve. It made her true value impossible to ignore. There has never been a clearer reminder of just how important she is to the league, and that's exactly where this story really begins.
The cheapest ticket for the June 7th showdown is $14, according to Vivid Seats. Oh, there's some even less expensive than that.
First, the Los Angeles Sparks game completely destroyed that old narrative. The excuse that fans were showing up for everyone else suddenly became much harder to sell. Right before tip-off, tickets had dropped as low as just $3. Believe it or not, buying a small popcorn almost cost more than getting inside the arena to watch the Sparks lose. But here's where things became even more interesting. Just a few weeks later, the two teams met again, and suddenly ticket demand started climbing all over again.
The cheapest ticket for that game next month is currently at $82, according to Vivid Seats. It gets much worse. Therefore, there's currently an 83% drop between the two games.
I'm not even going to spend much time pointing out that Alyssa Thomas scored only 4 more points than you, me, and my blender combined. Let's move on. But seriously, that performance completely ended the debate under the brightest lights and in front of the biggest audience possible. After the league watched one of its most heavily promoted young stars deliver one of the season's most disappointing performances, hardly anyone is still buying the media's favorite narrative.
What are we doing? What are we doing? Like, the most coddled basketball player in history. She is the 43rd best player in the WNBA. She is, and that is being the most generous I can be coming into this season.
But fam, don't you dare exclude Angel Reese out of that. That is favoritism. Don't show that, man. You need to call Angel Reese out the same way you are willing to call everybody else out.
One thing has become impossible to ignore after everything we've witnessed. It isn't Alyssa Thomas driving the conversation. Caitlin Clark is the one moving the needle. The debate practically ends the moment Caitlin Clark steps onto the floor and television ratings immediately explode again. That argument is officially over, and maybe, just maybe, the WNBA will finally realize it's time to protect and properly promote its brightest superstar. Now, speaking about her highly anticipated comeback and those record-breaking moments, here's exactly what she had to say.
Is this an injury that happened during a game or anything, or is it just something that is lingering that popped up? Or?
It happened in the Liberty game, yeah.
Were you able to pinpoint the time in the Liberty game that happened, or you just?
No, definitely early in the game, but I couldn't tell you the exact play something occurred on.
But not everyone is buying that explanation. Growing speculation suggests Caitlin Clark may have been quietly battling this issue for weeks instead of suffering one random fluke injury out of nowhere. Many believe the problem had been building behind the scenes all along. She reportedly kept pushing through the pain until she simply could not continue during the Liberty game.
Happened in the Liberty game, yeah, I don't believe that. She looked 60% in the Liberty game. She looked no better against the Atlanta Dream. And there's no way it happened in the Liberty game. Unless, like, she looked so much better in the second half of the Liberty game as well. I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it.
First of all, there is actually something positive about that theory, and I'll explain it in just a moment. But honestly, don't be surprised if some quiet damage control was happening behind the scenes. Why? Because the conversation would look completely different if the team already knew about Caitlin Clark's injury and still allowed her to keep playing instead of treating it like one unexpected accident.
If things just go as they were, and we have expanded season of 22 home games with modest inflation, I'm looking at $875 million.
This season, Caitlin Clark has practically become a billion-dollar asset for the league. It would not just look bad. If the Fever knowingly kept sending her onto the court while she was dealing with an injury, the public relations fallout could be enormous. I'm not a lawyer, but that theory makes plenty of sense when you consider Caitlin Clark's relentless competitiveness, the fact she hasn't looked completely healthy all season, and the unbelievable attention surrounding her success.
She hasn't looked really right all year. Like, the Sky game was the Sky game. They destroyed the Sky. Sky were terrible. But outside the Sky game, she hasn't looked right at all. She didn't look right in preseason. She hasn't looked right at all.
This doesn't have to be some wild conspiracy. It could simply be smart damage control, and you can understand why the details might stay intentionally vague if that's really what happened. Now here's the interesting part. Honestly, I almost hope that theory turns out to be true for one reason. If Caitlin Clark has been quietly playing through an injury during those opening games and is finally taking time to recover, we could be on the verge of seeing the best version of her yet. Just think about it. She wasn't even close to 100%, yet she still produced impressive numbers. Imagine what happens once she's fully healthy. And there's another clue that seems to support that possibility, adding even more fuel to the belief that she may have been hiding her pain the entire time.
I think at times the hardest part is like just not being able to be involved in practice. Like, I love practice. Not a ton of people always enjoy like coming to practice every single day, but that's something I like really enjoy. Like, I really enjoy coming out here and like competing every single day with my teammates. Like, that's probably honestly what I miss most. Obviously, I miss the games. That goes for anybody that's ever hurt, but like, I love practice. I love getting better.
This doesn't have to be some wild conspiracy. It could simply be smart damage control, and you can understand why the details might stay intentionally vague if that's really what happened. Now here's the interesting part. Honestly, I almost hope that theory turns out to be true for one reason. If Caitlin Clark has been quietly playing through an injury during those opening games and is finally taking time to recover, we could be on the verge of seeing the best version of her yet. Just think about it. She wasn't even close to 100%, yet she still produced impressive numbers. Imagine what happens once she's fully healthy. And there's another clue that seems to support that possibility, adding even more fuel to the belief that she may have been hiding her pain the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a unique perspective, you know, when you're out there playing and actually in the heat of the moment, you don't always realize everything. You don't always see everything. You see things from a different perspective that maybe the coaching staff didn't see. So it's certainly different. So I'm trying to, you know, kind of be that connector between the coaches and then my teammates at the same time, whether, you know, that's in the locker room at halftime, whether that's during timeouts. So, you know, things I see from the bench that maybe might be a little bit different of a perspective than maybe our point guard is seeing or, you know, anybody on the floor is seeing.
Studying the game has always been part of Caitlin Clark's personality, so that's nothing new. But honestly, this unexpected time on the sidelines may be giving her something she's never truly experienced before, a coach's perspective. And it's already showing. She's growing into an even stronger leader. She isn't just sitting there waiting for clearance, because that's simply not who she is. Instead, she's locked in, breaking down plays like a coach, speaking up, encouraging teammates, and learning valuable lessons in real time. But now we arrive at the question everyone keeps asking. The one hanging over every broadcast, every headline, and every Fever fan's mind. When will Caitlin Clark finally return? Well, here's the news everyone has been waiting to hear.
After that, it's, you know, day by day and see how I feel and just kind of turn to the medical staff and what they think. But I feel like I've made a lot of progress and I feel good and, you know, not going to rush coming back. It's just not worth it.
This is exactly the update every Caitlin Clark and Fever fan has been hoping to hear. She's in great spirits and, more importantly, she's refusing to rush back because this is about far more than a single game. It's about the entire season and possibly even bigger goals. If anything, her relentless competitiveness may have pushed her to play through the pain, which is exactly how she ended up in this situation. That's simply who she is. By the time this video goes live, she could already be back against the Dream, although I honestly wouldn't count on it. The Fever are still finding ways to win without her, and with the season still young, another week of recovery could be the smartest move. I'm not her doctor, so if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But one thing is absolutely certain. Whenever Caitlin Clark returns, it will instantly become one of the biggest moments of the season. She was already smashing television ratings before missing any games, and this short break has only made the anticipation even stronger. Honestly, I don't think we've seen the best of her yet. The difference between this league with and without Caitlin Clark has become impossible to ignore. During her absence, the Fever learned who they really are and how to win together, and that kind of adversity can be priceless early in a season. Now she'll return to an even more confident and united team, ready to do exactly what everyone expected from the very beginning. Turn the Fever into a legitimate championship contender. It's amazing what a little patience and recovery can accomplish. Now tell me what you think in the comments. Then subscribe, turn on every notification, And don't miss what happens next because this story is only getting started.